And we're live.
And we're live.
And we're live.
So are we actually live?
No, we're not live. We're just like recording live.
I gotcha.
Yeah. No, I say live, but it's really not live. I should say we're recording.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I can do it live. You want to go live?
No.
No.
We don't want to offend too many people yet.
We'll get there. There's still time.
We'll get there.
There's still plenty of time.
We're throwing a disclaimer out there right now.
Fair enough. That's fair enough. So what's been going on, buddy?
Nothing. Enjoying the new job. Enjoying my 4-day weekend. Just trying to stay active in the rehab work. And, man, as much as I'd like to have a drink, I know I can't. Had some huge cravings on Wednesday. Battled through it, but they only last like 15 minutes, Dave. So, and it's how you interpret the cravings and where they're coming from. You know, you kind of articulate a little bit where you're at, what your settings, and how they come about. And is what's funny is mine come about in the weirdest ways. I had a craving, I don't know, about a month ago, and I was in Meijer, and I was on the pharmacy side. I threw bar soap in the cart, and all of a sudden, craving came on.
Just a random craving.
Yes. Out of nowhere. I was having a great day, didn't argue with nobody. So I just stayed on that side of Meijer for a little bit, and once it went through, I felt safe enough, I guess, quote unquote safe enough to hit the grocery side of Meijer. That way I could pass that particular aisle. But had one on Wednesday. But just got through it. Lasted about 10 minutes. Everything's going well.
So when you have a craving like that, what is that like for you mentally? Like, do you try to go somewhere in some sort of mental space? Like, do you focus on other things? What is that process like?
I guess it depends on the severity of the craving. Sometimes I'll call somebody. Then there's times I'll think myself through it. It's just, I pay attention to, like I said, what my surroundings are, what's going on with me at that time. If I'm a little down for the day but they just come from nowhere. So
would you say it's a stronger craving than like craving like food or something like that?
Well, it depends on the person.
Yeah.
Because you got people who have that, they binge eat. So it depends on the person. Right. I don't necessarily starve for food. So
now when you get further and further away from like drinking, like for instance, like I get cravings, right? Like food cravings. Like I want like ice cream or something bad.
Yes.
But the longer I go without eating something like that, the less I crave it, the less I have that desire to eat something like that. And if I do eat something like that, then the cravings start to come back. Is that how it is for you when you're with drinking?
It can. I almost equate it sometimes like to the further away you get from the last day of your drink is almost like the further you get away from Earth, the less gravitational pull you have. So the further I get away from my last day of drink, the less pull I have towards it. But at the same time, Dave, we've talked about this at work numerous times. A lot of my cravings came from negative self-talk. I don't have that negative self-talk anymore. So I can be in a room full of alcohol or around it and be absolutely fine. And I love the fact that if I'm with people, a particular person, and she wants to have a drink that night and I ask her not to, she's totally fine not drinking that night or not having a cocktail with dinner. So I love being able to have the strength to set down boundaries now for myself. So
yeah, that's probably one of the most important things, right? When you struggle with something is having people around you that are willing to support you in whatever it is that you need help with.
Yes. Yeah. The support is awesome. But at the same time, you have people that I was just talking about this yesterday with my son's mom. You have people that want you sober, but once you get sober, they fucking hate it. They fucking hate it, man. It's like they almost do everything they can to get you not sober. And I've got a couple people of those like that in my life right now. So, so I choose not to talk to those people. So,
yeah, I mean, unfortunately, there's people that don't want to see you be successful in any way.
Anyway,
Whether it's being sober or financially or anything.
Yeah.
They're just haters.
Bad. I got one particular person. She's like, you need to be sober for the kids. You need to be sober for the kids. You need to be sober for yourself. And then once you're sober for yourself, then it's everything hell and high water to get you back in trouble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I will not say no names.
So what else has been going on? It's been a while since I've seen you. I mean, I see you here and there, but we don't really talk all that much.
Yeah. I miss working with you, man, and our daily nonsensical conversations. Oh my gosh, the conversations we used to have, and I really miss having those with you. But at the same time, I had to get out of that area. Obviously for more reasons that came up later that I won't disclose on this podcast, but it was time to go. I had to get out of that position for me. It's not that I couldn't handle the stress that was with that job. It's just I chose not to anymore. And I'm so much happier. Even taking a pay cut, it's just worrying about what's in front of me instead of, 18 different jobs, 18 different people, 54 different personalities, bosses coming at you 14 different ways. You know how it is.
Oh, yeah.
But do I miss hanging out and talking with fellow team members? I do, especially you in our conversations. Oh, man, we had some great ones. So what else has been going on? It's starting to really pay attention to what I'm putting into my body. Feeling better that way.
Are you working out?
Not yet.
No.
I know I say I'm gonna, but of course I keep putting it off. And I want to get the LLC started. Still, it's funny that you say people are, they're scared of you being successful, but it's funny how your own mind plays that same trick.
Yeah, it's fear.
Yeah,
it's fear. It's self-doubt and self-worth. Like you don't know if you'll be successful enough, or you don't know, like you're scared to take that step. I'm not saying you, but like it can be a factor.
Oh no, there's a little fear there. I mean, and also, the fear of the responsibility that comes with being successful, because I think the responsibility will elevate a little bit.
Stress, a lot more stress too.
Yes. And, where I want to go with where I'm trying to do is, help people. And so by me delaying where I want to get to is also delaying helping other people. So I'm kind of, not only am I slowing that process down for myself, I'm slowing it down for other people. So I need to get on the ball with it, and I will.
Yeah. So let's kind of get into your story a little bit.
Let's.
Where do we start?
Where do you want to start?
Let's start at the beginning.
Okay.
Of whatever.
Where do you want to go back to? Like when the drinking first started, or just
well, yeah, let's talk about that.
Okay.
If you want.
Okay.
Share as much or as little as you want.
Okay, I don't care. I am not ashamed of my story anymore. So back in 2015, I got caught having an affair on my ex-wife, and yes, but I'm not the only one out there has done it or is, been in trouble for that. And I have forgiven myself for it. But at that time, drinking really took off for me, and it took a particular person to like slap me in the face and tell me to stop. And I went over 2.5 years without drinking, was lifting weights really hardcore then. Then it got in the best shape of my life. And then eventually drinking came back. I thought I had it licked, figured you had it. And no, it reared its ugly head again. And I got my first arrest in, funny, 4/20. Yeah. April 20th.
And weed was not involved.
April 20th of 2020, and weed was not involved. Funny, I was passed out on my own couch and got arrested, but
Yeah, you were telling me this story.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah. I was passed out on my own couch. A well check was not a welfare check. A well check was called on me. EMTs came in, and at that same time, when EMTs, under my understanding, is when EMTs come into your house, officers will follow them in for their protection. Well, I passed all their questionnaires, and so they still wanted to take me to the hospital, and I didn't want to go. And I had to sign a refusal form. So when the EMTs walked out, the officers stayed in, and I was going from my kitchen or from my living room to my kitchen. And when I was passing one of the officers, they asked me to take my hands out of my pockets. And so I took my hands out of my pockets, put them in the, I guess, open-handed form of like freeze, don't move position. And I was still trying to get past them because I was trying to get to the kitchen to get a drink of water, is what you do when you wake up from a pass out. Officer decides to put his hand in my chest and start walking me backwards and said, "You're going to go sit down on the couch." Well, after about the fifth step of being pushed backwards, I decided to lock my leg, and we made eye contact for about 2 seconds, and he threw me to the ground, tackled me to the ground, and in the video you can hear me, "What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong?" I did absolutely nothing wrong. I was passed out on my own couch. They took me out and proceeded to try and put me into the police cruiser, which was a Tahoe, and I was holding the door open with my left foot. And I kept yelling at the officer, "I want to speak to your superior." And at that time, he decided to put his hands around my neck and try and push me into the back of the police cruiser. And when he tried to slam the door, I kicked the door back open and it hit him in the knee. So I get arrested for felony assault on a police officer.
Oh my gosh.
So
what was the reason for arrest prior to that?
Resisting arrest for
being in your house,
for being passed out on my own couch.
That is so ridiculous.
Who are you telling?
Now, the police officer that you had this encounter with, he also had he had other incidences happen to him.
Yes.
Where he was being extremely forceful or using his using his position in ways he shouldn't have been.
Yes. I won't say the officer's name, but
it is public, right?
It is public. Yes.
So we can look him up.
We could if we want to.
Let's do it.
He got pulled over he got in trouble for pulling over a young black teenager in DeWitt at the tailgaters. And he pulled his gun on him. He was off duty and out of jurisdiction.
See, why would you be doing that? Why would you? You said he followed this kid, right?
That's just what I read.
All right, so Lansing State Journal. Judge orders DeWitt police officer to stand trial for pulling gun on black delivery driver. That's the one, right?
Yep. I believe he's delivering newspapers, if I'm not mistaken. Is that what it says, Dave, on the article there?
Let's see here. St. John's. A judge ruled Friday there was enough evidence for a DeWitt police officer to stand trial on charges of misconduct in office and felonious assault. The charges stem from a January 14th, 2021 incident where off-duty DeWitt police officer, should I say his name?
No, let's leave it out.
Accused of following a Lansing State Journal newspaper delivery driver from his neighborhood, pointing a gun at him and pursuing him to a nearby gas station where he again pulled his gun on him. Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel charged blank in April with misconduct in office, which, we can say his name because it isn't a public article. This is the Lansing State Journal.
You know what? But I don't care. Let's say his name.
They can just go and read it if they want to.
They can read it. Your audience will read it if they want.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let's not throw his name out there, but it is public.
Michigan, charge this officer in April with misconduct in office, a felony firearms enhancement, and felonious assault. Vors had an attorney to follow blank, the 19-year-old driver, nor to pull his gun on him. Oh, wait. Had no authority. Okay. The defendant never had to follow him and never had to pull into that gas station. Mr. Hamilton was driving away, but he chose to do it anyways. Yeah, so that's crazy. So he just chose to see, like, he's seen a black guy and was like, I'm going to follow him.
Yes.
Like, why?
But,
what?
And this is the same officer.
Oh, this is what led to Forrest. I'm just going to say his name. What led to Forrest drawing his gun?
This is the same officer that literally put me in a chokehold. And then
for no reason.
And then put his hands around my neck because I was passed out on my own couch. And he decided to tackle me because I wouldn't sit on my couch.
Wow.
And I didn't show no force I didn't even say a word to the cops. I didn't even say a word to the officers in my house at this point.
Isn't it kind of a weird thing that a police officer can come into your house and tell you what to do in your house?
It's fucking insane.
Like why are they allowed to do that? Like, it's not like there was some sort of situation to where you were causing some sort of violence or you were like there was a domestic abuse situation.
Nothing like that.
Nothing.
You're
literally just passed out and they're like, you need to sit on the couch.
Yes. And it was almost like looking back at the video, because there's two or three different body cam. I saw two of the three. And it was almost like they were looking for something to arrest me before the EMTs even started what they were doing. Because one of the officers were like, can we get him with child neglect or child endangerment? Because I was drinking in my own house as my daughter was doing in school because of the COVID.
Wow. So how long did you go to jail for that?
I was in jail overnight. I was put on I was in jail for about 18 hours that day. I was put on probation for a year. And at that time, I was not ready to stop drinking. And I don't care what you say. And I've even, I will argue up and down, you cannot be ordered sober. I continued to drink on probation. Didn't care. I did not care. Every time I had, not every time, but I would say 80% of the time that I had a urine test, Dave, I was diluting my pee. I was peeing straight water. And as for some of your audience out there, you know, when you have to go do that, they want color in your pee, and I did not care. And then my second arrest came in later that year, that same year, it was in November, and I had gotten pulled over for a DUI. So, and then I went, that was my second probation violation. So I had a probation violation before that, went to jail for 5 days because I think that's the standard. And then after that, my probation got revoked, went to jail for 50 days, and then I was free after that.
And then were you wanting to be sober after that?
I stayed sober for 20 months after that. I didn't start drinking again until July of last year. I had one beer when I was on a 2.5-week road trip. Had one beer, and when I got home is when it took off. So I would say it was about a week into that we'll say it was 2 weeks. It was about a 2-week road trip. So about a week into it, I had one beer, didn't have another beer after that. But when I got home, it really took off. So my thing is Dave, is that I could sit here and have a drink with you right now and be fine with one.
Right.
It's what happens next Saturday and the following Saturday after that.
And is it circumstantial? Like you could have a bad day and be like, I just need a drink. And then from there, it's like a slow, steady decline.
Well, nowadays I could have the shittiest of shit days and not want to drink because I don't have that negative self-talk in me anymore, like where I'm a bad person, bad dad, just overall bad human being, because I know that's not true. I know I'm a great dad. I know I'm a great person. I'm a great human being. So all those factors that was running through my head before, I wasn't really a social drinker, quote unquote, like they like to say.
Yeah, that's me.
So, I mean, I can be around it. People doing their thing. It's just I'm fine because I know I'm not that shit dad. I'm not that shit person. I'm not that shit human being. You know what I mean? And then, and it really spiraled last year, and it got really, really, really bad. I had friends coming over. There was puke everywhere, everywhere, food everywhere. Just I turned into an absolute slop when I'm drinking. And I don't remember. I literally barely remember the month of September last year.
I remember you messaged me during September.
I don't. I don't remember. It's funny because I remember talking to you about that, and it's funny because my closest friends, when I text them when I'm drinking, they know.
Yeah, it's
Just from texting.
Yeah,
And I've got two people in my life right now, my daughter, Danica, and my good friend, Julie. I could just say the word "the," and they know if I've been drinking or not.
in text or in person.
In person.
Wow,
I could literally say the word "the," and they'll call me right out. You've been drinking.
just the way you say it.
Yes.
Wow.
So, and
It's important though to have people like that know you so well because then it kind of helps keep you accountable too, because you can't hide it.
right. Well, and I'm at a point where I'm keeping myself accountable now too.
That's the most
You
important
know
thing.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's awesome. It's awesome to be where I'm at now. I love it. I was just telling somebody the other day, I love being sober. I love it. I'm getting everything back fast. I'm noticing it everywhere. When I get up in the morning, how fast I get up.
The quality of life is so much better.
Everything in life. I'm noticing even on the golf course, how I haven't even started lifting weights and my strength is coming back on the golf course. Stuff like that. I feel stronger now than I did even 5 years ago. And 49. So
You're 49?
49.
Dang.
Don't tell nobody. And yeah, so going back to last year, I'm not suicidal, never have been, never wanted to hurt myself, but there was a few times in September, Dave, I didn't care if I woke up or not. I've told you this, it's like, didn't care. I didn't care. Let it go. It's time. I don't care if I wake up. And it's sad to be in a place like that. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there like that, and there's a lot of people out there that's dealing with it. It's crazy. The numbers that you hear, 60% of our population deal with it directly or indirectly.
Yeah.
I'm sure that number's lower, or I'm sure that number's higher now.
There's a guy at work that you know who he is, but his dad just tried drinking himself to death.
Okay.
Yeah.
The one that was in your old team.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you. Really?
Yeah. It was bad, I guess. Like he ended up in the hospital. He might still be in the hospital. I think he might have been in a coma or something.
I'll have to reach out to that particular individual and just let him know I'm thinking about him and his family.
Yeah, it's crazy though. Because I don't understand that mindset because I've never been there. I've never had addiction problems like that. And like to the point where it's almost like a demon, right? Like it just takes over your mind and you just want to.
It's
got to be like an inner battle, right? Like with self and with this demon.
I believe it's the only. Alcoholism is the only addiction out there that tells you don't have a problem. I could sit there and drink a fifth a day and tell you, and literally I could drink a fifth of vodka or whiskey yesterday or today, and then either today or tomorrow wake up and tell you I don't have a problem.
But is that you just not really focusing on it? Because that you're letting other people down by doing that, right? Like that people are not happy with you. That it's like a self-worth issue,
but
right?
You get to a point where you don't care.
Right.
When you get to you start drinking, you get to a point you don't care, because once you hit that spot a little bit, then all your stresses go away. And then now you're really going for it. And it's when you wake up the next day, you're like, oh, fuck, who did I text what? Or who did I say to what? And then
that's when all the...
Then it's like, all right, I need to drink again so these feelings go away.
Right.
And it's a perpetual cycle.
Right.
It sucks. It sucks.
So is there a point in time when it becomes like a battle between this demon that you have inside you, the desire to want to drink and the desire to just wash everything away, and then you're like yourself, like your inner self, knowing that you're hurting people and you're hurting yourself, and that you have all this regret and all this, and it's like this battle, and you're just like fuck it, I just need to end it, so I'm just going to continue doing this.
Yes. It took me going to rehab 4 straight months to figure this out.
Yeah, you were like every month.
Yes.
You would call me and be like, I'm heading back.
I'm heading back. Let's see, man, thank God for...
Oh my gosh. Funny story about that. I remember one time you called me, it was like 9:00 at night. I don't even know if you remember. I think I might've told you after, but it was like 9:00 at night, and you're like in the hospital. You're like, I'm waiting to go back. And then you're telling me all these things. I honestly don't even remember what you were talking about, but you're swearing. And you kept apologizing to the people in the lobby. I don't know if they were looking at you whenever you said something that was offensive, but you would swear and then you'd be like, I'm sorry.
I think I remember that. That might have been my second round going back.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get to that one in a second, but I'm gonna put a big thank you out there to, some very close friends of mine, Alex, Julie, Devin, Anthony. I don't know if they'll hear this or not, but I've told them thank you numerous times. And then even just the guys at work, people like you, thank you. And then, even upstairs in the human resources or labor relations, the union, and, Leonard King, Scott Macy, all them guys for initially getting me into Skywood. I was in there for 28 days the first time, got out, had a bad 12-day. Well, I was good for the first 5, then had it was bad after that, where I checked myself back in for 32. I was out for 10, went back in for another 32, had another bad 1 or 2, went back in for 5, and here we are. Unfortunately, the first 2 times I went in, I think I was working on, I was working on getting sober. But you get sober every day. It's just, you drink again.
Right.
3rd time I went in there working on recovery. And when you have that mindset of working on recovery, then things tend to slow down and look a little bit differently as you're taking these classes, 7 hours of class, 7 days a week for 32 days. Mm-hmm. Things make sense a little bit more.
Were you covering the same material that you would cover the first time you went in, or?
Yes, but it was being said differently too at the same time. But
okay.
On that 3rd month, Dave, I was hearing it differently.
Were you taking it more serious?
They changed up my whole team. So you go in there, you'll have a therapist, you'll have instructors, you'll have a patient care coordinator, and my whole team got changed up. First 2 months, I had the same therapist, counselor, whatever you want to call it, mm-hmm. Same patient care coordinator. Everything got switched up. So I told my therapist the 3rd time I went in there, you go in there and you're kind of bullshitting your way a little bit. You're telling these guys what they want to hear, but they know.
Right.
They know.
Right.
They know you're bullshitting. So that 3rd time I went in there, Laura was like, how do you want to do this? What's great about Laura, she's like, do you care if I swear? And I'm like, I would fucking love it if you swore. And so she goes, well, how do you want to handle this? I said, I need you to turn my brains into a big old bowl of spaghetti, and let's figure this out. And Laura absolutely did that. And she got me to the point where everything that was kind of holding me back, I got past that. And it was everything I was ashamed of, my arrests, my drinking so much where my, people were pulling themselves away. I wasn't pushing them away. They were pulling themselves away because they didn't want to be around me. during that state. And so
it's difficult when you're watching somebody drink themselves, or not even just that, but like doing something that is harming them and you love them and care about them. It's hard to watch that.
And I don't know that. You know what I mean?
Right.
I only know my side.
Right.
But
it feels like they don't want anything to do with you. Right.
Yeah. Yes. And so my kids had to pull away. And that's what they did. But
self-preservation.
Yes, but now they're back in my life, full force, full core, everything. Actually, going to be going golfing with my daughter today after the podcast, and
hell yeah, nice.
So got a coffee from her on the way here. So she's doing good. Everything's. It's funny how everything comes back faster than what you think it would.
Yeah,
but that's me. I'm sure it's not going to be that way with everybody.
Well, you got to put the work in too.
Yes. And you know, people in my life don't want to hear it. They want to see it. Stop feeding me bullshit. I don't want to hear the bullshit. I want to see it.
Right.
And they're seeing it.
Yeah.
They're seeing it. And I have a couple people that I was in rehab with that I talked to on a normal basis, and a couple of them just went back, and I'm proud that they went back. We talked on their way in. They're ashamed and feeling embarrassed. And man, there's nothing to be ashamed about.
Yeah.
There's nothing to be ashamed or embarrassed about having an addiction. And I don't know, your audience, I don't know if they saw me on the news or not a few weeks ago, but there's nothing to be ashamed about. And I told them guys I was proud of them and I love them, and I do love them, and I am proud that they're taking the strength to get back in there.
What news channel were you on?
Channel 6.
I never even watched that. You can keep going.
So, but I lost train of thought.
Well, you're talking about people pulling away,
yeah.
And
yes, and just getting, everything's getting back. Even like my word at work has come back. Everybody is respecting me again. The bosses, and here I am. When I came back to work in February, I felt like I'd pissed away 26 years of having a good name and letting my work prove it. And sure enough, man, I was holding my head high walking back to work, but at the same time I was embarrassed. But man, the love and hugs I got that first day back, it was awesome.
Well, most people want to see you be successful, right?
Right.
Most people want that. It's the people that are closest to you that don't want that.
I wouldn't say they're
not necessarily the closest, but you know what I mean.
They know your most inner selves and what you're capable of. They don't want you hitting that full capabilities. And it's funny how you got haters out there like that. I think that's it right there, Dave.
Once it plays.
So I feel really good where I'm at in life, and I'm excited where it's going. We've talked about this, what I'd like to start, and where I want to go to be able to help people, and even, start this apparel line to be able to donate the profits back to where I did my recovery work. That way it could be handed out to people who can't necessarily afford maybe their full recovery. Some of it can get paid for, and I would love to do that.
Hundreds of people are on the Capitol lawn right now to put an end to drug-related deaths. It's our top story at noon. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for watching today. I'm Kiera Lake. United to Face Addiction members are currently hosting their 6th annual drug abuse rally, and their goal is to educate and empower people to say no to drugs. Kyle Macon is here for you now live from the rally. And Kyle, what is their message this afternoon?
Kiera, they're saying enough is enough.
I don't know if this is the one I was on or not,
that
but
over 3,000 people lost their lives due to overdoses, which is 3 times higher than the amount of people who had died in car crashes. Many people.
Oh, of course. course.
You need to pay your internet bill, man.
The rally say that why they're seeing more overdoses than before is because drugs are now being laced with fentanyl. At the event, over 80 organizations were there to educate people what resources are available to them. Dozens of former addicts spoke to the crowds to share their story of recovery in hopes to inspire others. One person there says that addiction can happen to anyone, and you shouldn't be ashamed to ask for help.
I just sent you the text of the clip where I was on, so I just forward that to you by way of text.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi down here doesn't work that well. I have a Wi-Fi wireless thing, and it's a enhancer, and for some reason it went out. So I have a direct like hookup, but it doesn't work that well down here. It's frustrating, but
yeah, it was. I did the interview, and what was crazy is I had golf league that day, and sure enough, about 6:15, I got bombarded with a ton of texts when I was on the golf course.
Everybody seen you on the news?
Yes. But what was awesome too, Dave, is that a few of the texts were like, "It was so good to see you," because I admitted right on air that this is what I deal with. I deal with alcoholism. It's right there in the clip. I deal with alcoholism. I've been dealing with it really bad for the last 8 years. And there's nothing to be embarrassed about. And there's people that want to help. And there is people that want to help, truly help you, not for their own gain, And, unfortunately, some people out there to help for their gain, not for somebody else. But that's not me. I'm here to help, not for my gain at all. Once we get close to ending this, I'll put that email out there, and my phone number. So if people contact you and they want to get my phone number, give it to them. I don't have a problem with that. And it was awesome because a couple of those people they were telling me what they were going through. And it's stories like that also help me stay sober as well.
Right. Right.
I think I text you, I wore a shirt out in public that said, asked me how I got sober. And man, I got stopped 5 times that day. I got one right at GNC, and then 4 times at the DeWitt Meyer I got stopped. So
wow.
If you guys ever see me out there wearing that shirt, ask me and I'll tell you. Let's talk.
Oh, definitely a conversational starter right there.
Yes, it is. It is. But I love it. I love it. I don't shy away from it. So.
Well, I think so many people struggle with addiction in not just alcoholism, but in everything, like even eating. Eating's probably the number one.
Dude, it's fucking bananas.
Addiction.
It's
Yeah.
fucking bananas. Cause one of the instructors, I'm not going to say no names, but one of the instructors at Skywood, anyway, one of the instructors at my rehab, she sat up there and she was, she sat there and told us, I can't figure out why you guys want to drink yourself to where the point you want to puke and pass out. She goes, but you don't understand that I'll sit here and eat, 6 Big Macs till I'm puking. And in my same mind, as I'm sitting in class listening to the instructor, I'm like, you're right. I want to throw up just thinking about eating 6 Big Macs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But whether it's food, drugs, or caffeine, it's hitting the same reward, the same reward pleasure zone. You know what I mean? In the brain.
Right.
So you get that. I might be getting my words mixed up right now, but you're getting that same dopamine release as from alcohol to food to drugs, or
I wanted to look up the eating disorder rate. So the United States is number 1.
No way.
Yeah. So 30 million. Here, I'll pull it up on them. So the United States has 30 million number of people with eating disorders. United Kingdom comes in at 1.25 million, Australia 1 million, and Canada 800,000.
Okay, now is eating disorder is this considered obese or eating disorder as starving yourself as well?
Key eating disorder statistics. Eating disorders affect at least 9% of the global population. 9% of the U.S. population suffers from eating disorders. The percentage accounts for 28.8 million Americans. 6% of the people with eating disorders are diagnosed with the status of being underweight by healthcare professionals. between 28% and 74% of people that are at risk for getting an eating disorder get it from hereditability or as a genetic trait from their family. Of all mental illness, eating disorders are one of the most fatal, with 10,200 deaths occurring every year. By the percentages, this is higher than the people that die from opiate overdoses.
Now that could be where they're under eating and overeating. Is that
Yeah,
what it's saying?
that's all considered an eating disorder, I guess. So,
but it's crazy is that I'm not very knowledgeable on the overeating part, but the other health issues that come with that were diabetes and stuff like that, and the heart disease, and but it's what makes it. You got fast food on every corner, and it seems like nowadays it's just easier to order up a couple of value meals than to cook.
Well, and it's almost cheaper too.
I was just going to say that, Dave, it's cheaper.
So there's this guy. He lost so much weight. I seen an article this week, and I'm trying to find it. It's incredible the amount of weight he lost, but like he has all the skin hanging. Like it's insane. Like
so he needs that surgery.
Yeah, he needs this. I think he actually had the surgery. I'm trying to remember what his name is. Hold on a second.
And just from me, also from me, stop drinking, I've lost 35 pounds myself.
Just from drinking.
Well, because you tend to eat a little bit more shittier when you do eat.
Yeah.
There was times that I would go days without eating because I'd try to get all my nutrition from alcohol. What kind of sense does that make? I don't know. But at the same time, you're ordering you eat bullshit. The bullshit you eat.
What was your go-to, like Taco Bell?
It didn't matter. It depended on the time of day and how long I wanted to wait. A lot of times I had a lot of pizza delivered so I wouldn't have to drive.
Mm. At least you were responsible and didn't drive.
I'm a responsible drunk.
Oh, I wish I could remember his name.
But like I said, man, it's great. It's great having everything back, and the best ability I can have by being sober is the availability.
Yeah.
Because if I was drinking, if I was still drinking now, Dave, and we scheduled this podcast for today, I would say it might have been an 80-20, maybe 90-10, in the higher percentage of me not making it.
Mm. I probably wouldn't have invited you on. I'd be like, he's not going to show up.
I appreciate the honesty.
I can't remember this guy's name.
But, I enjoy now. My kids are contacting me on the regular. I went up and hung out with my son and his husband yesterday, and oh my gosh, how fun was that? I mean, cracking jokes all afternoon. Oh, you want to hear a joke? I got some jokes for you. All right, why did Susie fall off the swing?
Why?
Because she has no arms. Knock knock.
Oh my God.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Not Susie.
Oh my gosh.
And then
dad jokes.
So then he tells me this joke. He goes, "Dad, what's the difference?" This is my son. "What's the difference between peanut butter and jam?" "I can't peanut butter my dick in your ass."
Oh my God.
So this is the jokes that are going back and forth. And yeah, I'm sure not every father and son has that type of relationship, but you know what I mean? This is me and my son. We make fun of people. We make fun of each other.
That's important.
We went to, and what's great too is my daughter was up at Central yesterday watching her boyfriend do 7-on-7 tournament for football for DeWitt.
This is the guy. I have so much loose skin after losing 360 pounds. I need 5 surgeries to remove it. He was nearly 600 pounds. Look at this.
Holy shit.
Right?
It doesn't even look like the same guy.
No. But look at that. So this is just proof that you can overcome whatever obviously there's people that overcome addictions all the time, but to get that big, you have to have some sort of eating disorder.
You can
look at that.
Wow.
This dude
needs, yeah.
This dude is insane. Like, I mean, the amount of weight that he lost is incredible.
Now, did he lose it fast? Is that why the skin is like that? Or
I'm not sure.
Or is it because he was so big that it didn't matter? I wonder.
I don't think it would matter, honestly. I think regardless, because you can only put on so much muscle, right? Unless you're going to take steroids and just get roided up, juice to the gills, and look like The Rock. Like, I mean, you would have to fill that skin.
But isn't skin elastic?
Yeah, but I mean,
not that much.
That's 600 pounds.
That's 600 pounds. What did he get down to?
I think it was like 2 something.
Holy shit. He was eating 5,000 calories a day.
Via chips, cheeseburgers, whole pizzas, and soft drinks. 12 packs. Wow. Exercise left him out of breath. He bristled at the thought of beach days or water parks and blamed his lack of motivation for the end of his 7-year relationship, despite efforts to save it. I would always put on a happy exterior because that's what a lot of big people do. But I was a pretty lonely person, he explained. You don't want to go to anything because you don't want to have to worry about fitting in the chairs and worrying about having to walk very far. What you're going to wear. Procasta started his health journey by walking just a few blocks a day, eventually traveling farther and farther each day while limiting his intake of sweet treats and savory indulges. The former chip addict drank... Why did they got a word shit like that? The former chip addict drank more water, ate more protein, and now treks 10,000 steps every day, no matter what, along with frequenting the gym and to lift weights.
What's 10,000 steps? What is that?
That's like
4 miles? Is that 5?
Yeah, something
4
like that.
miles?
I mean, we walk, like at work, we walk on an average about 17,000, and that's about 10 miles.
Okay.
So, that's what my tether tells me every day.
Oh, this is so funny when people, like I said the other day, they were asking me, why are they wearing tethers?
It's so funny because like so many people comment on it, and it's like, why is this a point of discussion? Like, you've never seen somebody wear like some sort of fitness tracker on their leg. Do you know what is that? Is it pedometer? That tracks your steps?
Pedometer.
Pedometer.
I think it's pedometer.
Pedometer.
I think.
Yeah.
But
like, people don't wear that?
Why do they care?
Why does it matter?
To them.
It's not. They know it's not a tether.
Right. Get arrested once. They'll know.
I've seen people with tethers. They're a lot bigger.
They're a lot
bigger.
And the Band-Aid Velcro.
Yeah.
I'm sure the Band-Aid Velcro.
There was a guy at work the other day. It was like, what's that on your ankle? And I was like, it's a Fitbit. And he's like, why do you have it on your ankle? And I was like, because it tracks your steps a lot more accurate than like my watch does.
Yeah, you could sit there and swing your arm all day.
And it'll count. It'll count it. Or if like you're working, it'll count that too. And I'm like, if it's more accurate on your leg, I don't have to worry about it. And he's like, well, I'll just put it on my shoe. Why? Why does it matter?
Okay, good for you. Put it on your shoe. Who cares?
Go ahead. Take it. I mean, what are you gonna do when you take your shoe off? I don't understand, but all right.
But what's funny is like when we were still working together in the same team, I don't know how many people asked you that.
So many people.
And then and now that when I'm in a different area and I'm working over by Amanda now, and then like when I walked in with you guys and, you took that right turn and Amanda and I kept walking straight, but, Amanda was a few steps ahead of me. And, like I said upstairs is like, somebody's asking me, why do they wear tethers? Like, it's not a tether.
We got to track each other.
Like Amanda said upstairs, I'm gonna start using that because they robbed banks.
You just got to start embracing it. Like whenever somebody, because like typically at work when someone's asking about something, it's because they have something negative they want to say about it. Typically, and it's like they're thinking something negative generally, and so I just roll with it. Now I'm like, it's a tether, and they're like, oh, it's not a tether.
But it's what's funny? It's like that with everything.
Yeah.
It's like that with everything. It's amazing how many people are so worried about
other people.
Yeah. And it feels good to be at a place where I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's important to not care because, I mean, you could care so much to the point where you like change yourself to make other people happy just so you fit in. But then at the end of the day, you're still not happy. And then those people still will judge the fuck out of you.
Yes. Or not only do they judge you, they put you down to make themselves feel better.
Yeah.
Hurt people hurt people.
Yeah.
Figure your shit out.
I mean, you see it all the time in there in GM. There's so many hurt people in there.
Unfortunately, I'm real close to somebody, and she's just trying to do her job. And some of the remarks she gets, it's unbelievable what she hears. And I try to tell her on a daily basis, I'm like, just don't listen to it. You know who you are. You know who you're not. They're just miserable in there. They're miserable at home, and they're going to take it out on no matter who's in front of them.
Yep.
If it's not you, it's going to be somebody else.
And that's the thing, like, because there's a lot of people that don't like our current group leader. And I'm like, he's just doing what he has to do. Like, you don't understand that he's taking orders from people that are on his throat, like telling him, hey, you need to do this. And if you don't do this, like, you're going to be in trouble too.
Right.
He doesn't want to do that. He likes the people that he's over, I'm sure. I'm sure he doesn't hate everybody. It's not his job. It's not in his job description or in his better interest to make sure that our life is a living hell every single day. But it's like
it would be more work for him.
Exactly. Like
to shit on you than not to.
Exactly.
But
that's his job.
When it comes down to it, he's got to do what he's got to do for him and his livelihood. And if it's writing somebody up because they're not doing their job,
or if it's adding work or pushing work or like whatever it is, like it's coming from further up. It's not coming from him. And everybody takes that shit so personal, like it's that person. That person has an agenda, and they need to fulfill it. And it's ridiculous.
I'm gonna let you in on a little secret here, guys.
It's not really a secret.
If you don't want work added to your jobs, stay off your phones.
When certain people are around.
Yeah. But yeah,
that's why I got this watch. I got this. Nobody can see it. I got the Apple Watch because I couldn't text while working, and I felt like I was disconnected all the time. So I was like, "Well, I need to like be able to text people or call people." So I just, "Hey Siri, call this person."
Your kids.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Your kids, because I even got something said to me the other day. I just had my phone out on my little table at jobs line side. I wasn't looking at it. It was I believe it was flipped over, and the team leader came up and said something to me that one of the bosses had mentioned to him. Hey, just make sure the phones are put away. Like, I'm not even looking at it. I'm not shutting the line down.
Wow.
Just leave me alone.
Yeah.
I'm trying to listen to Dateline.
Oh, you're into the crime shows?
I'm into everything. I'll listen to Dateline, 48 Hours, obviously Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Or Rise, and I'll listen to Rising Above. And but
there's a good podcast. It's a local podcast this lady does, but it's all about crime that happens in Lansing or around Michigan.
Michigan, yep. What's that called again?
Dead Time Stories, I think.
I think yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Her name's what's her name? I can't remember her name now.
I remember there was one she did for Lansing, and she was talking about going down here, and then I could picture myself going down that road.
Wow.
As she was doing the podcast.
That's crazy.
So how's everything going else with you?
Good. I kind of got burned out from podcasts for a while, just because it's always a constant thing. Like, it's always like trying to like find new guests, not really find new guests, but like it's booking guests. I do this whole thing by myself. So like editing podcasts, uploading, typing descriptions, all that stuff takes so much time. Thumbnails, pictures, social media posts, like all that. It's like this big involvement thing. Like I do it all the time. So I got burned out, stopped doing it for like a couple weeks, and then now I'm starting to pick it back up, and I'm actually like going to be really busy here soon. So I'm going to burn myself out again. But my goal is to hit 200 episodes this year. And so
now, when you feel that burnout, do you analyze what you did or didn't do so you don't maybe feel is burned out?
I did for a while. Because there for a while I was putting an episode out like almost every single day during almost every single day every week. I was putting an episode out. I would just record so many, and but now, or I would record enough to where I would release like 3 a week or something, which is insane. That's an insane amount of podcasts to do. Like, I've only done this for little over 2 years, and I'm at I'm almost at 150 episodes.
I know you had days where you what are you doing tonight, Dave? Well, I got to edit 3 podcasts tonight.
Yeah.
And I got to do 2 more tomorrow night. And
Yeah.
I knew you were doing a lot.
Yep.
You're doing a lot of episodes in a short amount of time, it seemed like.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and it was because, you know, I want to get better. I want to get more efficient at it, get better at it. I enjoy doing it. It's fun when you can sit down and do it. It's therapeutic in a sense, but at the same time, too much can be a bad thing. You have to have a balance.
Absolutely.
So, so now, you know, like I went to releasing 1 episode a week, which helped a lot because then I didn't have to put so much focus on it. I could edit 1, get it ready to be released whenever I wanted, and then just promote it like 1 or 2 days. And then I was done with it. But now I have a couple that are stocked like in the bank and I need to release them, and I'll probably start releasing like more than 1 episode a week again.
I know at one point too, you were just, it seemed like recently, but maybe not. You were meeting with a lot of business owners. Are you still doing that as well?
Yep. I meet with everybody. I have a bunch of politicians coming on here soon because we have an election coming up. So I reached out to all the people running for city council in Lansing. And so I actually had 1 on already. I need to release that episode. And then I have everybody else coming on too. So, and that's all in July. So it's going to be pretty crazy because those ones have to get out like right away.
Right.
So,
especially for them and their, I don't want to say their agenda, but kind of
their promotion, like to help them.
Right.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what I mean by their agenda. So they can get their name and word out.
Yep. But the thing is, like with podcasting, it's one of those things that like in order to stay relevant, you have to keep doing it. You cannot take breaks.
Right.
You have to be consistent with everything. And that's probably one of the hardest things as a content creator is making sure you stay consistent because I mean, life happens. You have kids, you have family, you have work, like you have all these other things you need to do. And content creation is so time consuming. So
how's that other endeavor going?
The network?
Yes.
That's also kind of been put on hold for a little bit, but I've had a website I'm having a website be created. It's actually created. I just need to work on it more and develop it, like kind of redevelop it a little bit. And it's going to be a slow grow.
You know, what's funny is like when I've talked to you about starting this LLC and getting the business going and the apparel line and stuff like that, when you get that word out there, it's amazing how many people want to help.
Yeah.
Like the channels, just the channels that have been afforded to me, like, hey, I know a screen printer or I know access to apparel, you know, so let me know when you're ready and we'll help you out.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And here I am, I'm like, how the fuck am I going to do this? But then I got people like you that are, you know, helping, you know, that are willing to help. And it's awesome that there's people out there like you and other people that want to help.
Right.
And that you don't feel so lost in it.
Well, and I think that's one thing, like by doing this podcast and having all these other different business owners on, is it allows you to, for one, have these connections with different people, and it allows you to help people. So like, you know, when you launch your business here soon, you'll be able to come back and promote that. Right. And like by doing that, it helps you, it helps me, it helps everybody.
Right.
And to see everybody succeed is always beneficial. Like I have an apparel line too. It would not take anything away from me to promote your apparel line.
Right.
It doesn't affect anything.
Isn't that just, it's, now that I've seen it, it's just crazy that people, it's almost like I was watching a documentary and they call it the crab in the barrel or something like that, as one crab's trying to get out of the barrel to escape and
the other
succeed.
The
other one's pulling them out. But you have that in life as well. You got people that just want to keep you down, but then there's other people that's out there that, man, grab a hold, let's go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's enough to go around for everybody.
There is.
Yeah.
There is, you know, and there's a couple people that like I said, I talked to, and, you know, they're not drinking, but they struggle every day. And it's like, look, I'll help you pull your rope, but I'm not going to push your rope. Meaning I'll help you do the work a little bit, but I can't do it all for you.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yep.
And I won't.
Yep.
I'm not gonna. I choose not. I don't have to, and I'm not gonna. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
but I'll get in the trenches with you.
Yep. Yeah, and you can only help somebody so much. Like that was another thing that I recently kind of had to come to terms to, because I've been responsible for a certain somebody for a very long time, and like financially, I'm like in control of their money, and had to kind of like navigate like their activities and stuff like that. And now it's like become such a pain in the ass for me, just because that person makes everything difficult. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Like, it's not serving me, and they don't care. They don't care about themselves. They don't care about how it affects me. They don't care about how it affects my family. I just need to cut ties with it.
Did you?
I'm working on it.
Working on it?
Yeah, but for the most part, yes.
You know, what's funny is I'm in the process of doing the same thing. Not funny, haha, but is what's sad is I'm in the process of doing the same thing. So not funny. What's sad is I'm in the process of doing the same thing, because I've got a particular individual in my life that just doesn't want me to succeed in any kind of way. And I'm at a point now where, you know what, if you're in my life and you're going to have a relationship, any kind of relationship with this particular person, I don't care who you are, friend, family, I'll love you. But if you're going to have a relationship with this person, I can't control that. Have that relationship with them. But you know what? I'm going to have to put our relationship on halt for a little bit, because now I see it as if you're not with me, you're against me. Mm. And for my own mental well-being, you know what I mean?
There's a quote. Hold on, I want to find it. Yeah, it was Tupac that said it. Said, I'm bigger than that. I still want to see you eat, just not at my table.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the thing is I like that quote, because you don't have to hate that person. You don't have to wish bad on that person.
I wish.
But
sorry, I interrupted. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. But you want to still see them be successful, but you just cannot have them a part of your life. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing.
It could it could affect you in such a negative way. You just need to realize that it's not beneficial to have that person in your life.
And like I was saying, Dave, the people in my life that want to have a relationship with this particular person, I love these people to my heart and soul. But if you want to have any kind of relationship with this other person, I can't, because it will, as much as I try to take myself out of it, it's bringing me in, and I can't stop it. So for my own well-being, it's like, I got to put our relationship on hold,
right?
Until you're done. Then I'm still gonna love you.
Yep.
But I like that you're just not gonna eat at my table,
right? It's one of my favorite quotes ever.
I love it.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
I want to see you eat, just not at my table.
Right. There was something else I was gonna say too, and I can't remember.
So you obviously plan on starting this apparel line. When do you plan on doing it?
You know what? I'm gonna get off my lazy ass. So like I said, I'm going golfing with my daughter, and after at 4:30 today, we're going golfing. So I'm gonna start it tonight. I'm gonna get the LLC started tonight. I've already got as well as I do. I got the domain name already bought. So the once the website gets going, the domain name's already bought. So I'm gonna do it tonight.
Nice.
Get the LLC going, and then maybe next week I'll start looking into. Not maybe next week. Next week I'll start looking into trademarking some of the quotes that you and I had talked about before today. So that way nobody can steal my quotes. But
I think you should write down, like, every day do one thing for the business. That's what I did for the podcast and for my business, and then that's actually how I ended up developing everything as a business. Like, I was like, I'm just going to start every day, have a goal. Just one thing that's dedicated to the podcast, one thing that's dedicated towards like the business side of it.
Right.
And then that just eventually led into me starting the business and starting the apparel line. And
well, like I said too, at the beginning of this, the more I put this off, I'm not helping people.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what my purpose is now. I can retire soon, and I felt like I didn't have a purpose after retirement. So I was just going to work until I had 40 years in at GM. Well, yeah. I can retire when I'm 52, 53, turning just 53. And, but I didn't have a purpose. What am I going to do after GM? And now I know, so it's great to have that purpose. And if I'm not getting out there and grinding, I'm not helping nobody.
Right.
I'm only helping myself, by just staying sober. And I mean, that's great. I'm staying sober because I'm staying sober. Believe me, people in my life want me sober. I'd be like, I'll never forget that one day just one day I'd like to go through to see what, be in your head and see what you think about. And we looked at each other like,
no.
But me putting this off, I'm not helping nobody. So yeah, tonight on what's today's date? June 17th of 2023. I'll get the LLC started tonight. Because what is it? A mere $300?
I think
ish.
I mean, I think you could do it cheaper if you wanted, but yeah.
Ish.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, you won't regret it.
I know I won't. I know I won't. And that's what, as I sit here now and we talk about it, I can't believe I haven't started it.
Well, the thing is too, is like
maybe it's that little part of me that's scared of success. That part of it.
Yeah. I mean, because it's uncharted territory, right?
You've
never done it.
I've never done it.
Yeah.
But it's awesome to know that what's coming is to help people.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, man. I think it's awesome, and I think you should eventually look into possibly coaching, maybe some sort of.
That's the plan too. Go back to school. I'd like to go back to school, get some social work in, get some training done through. There's a couple of Hope Not Handcuffs, and then Family Against
Hope Not Handcuffs.
Yes. And then there's another one called FAN, which is Families Against Narcotics. You can do training through them. That way you can be certified to do that coaching. I have a peer recovery coach myself. His name is Sean, and we get together a couple times a month for food. And it's like having a AA sponsor, but without the steps. But we talk at least once a week still to this point. Then we'll grab food. Nice young guy. He's had his trials and tribulations, and I think to be an effective recovery coach, you've had to been through it in the trenches. Yeah. And I think that I can do that. I know that I can do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something that, like, I mean, when somebody hasn't gone through what you've been through and they're telling you, like, you should be doing it like this, you're like, shut the fuck up.
Right.
Like, who are you to say?
Well, it's funny too, like and I hate to go back to work, but it's like people at work, they're like, doesn't this piss you off? I'm like, man, do you know what I've been through? Let me tell you what I've been through. All right, I've been through 3 arrests, about 80 days worth of jail, near death twice. Well, I ain't gonna say near death, but I was knocking on death's door twice last year. I was on the verge of organ failure twice. Going to the hospital and you're, whitish gray, your eyes are yellow. That means your liver's starting to shut down or is on the verge of shutting down. Wow. 100 days of rehab, and you get back and I'm grateful. I am so grateful. And it's
because you're coming out on the other side.
Yes.
And not many people do get that opportunity.
Right. And like, I want to help. I want to help save people. I want to help save families and, keep those families together. And if they can't stay together, at least they're alive for themselves and for their kids.
Right.
And their family.
Yeah.
You're 20 years younger than me, but man, I look up to you, and it's amazing where you can find your motivations from, and like you motivate me to, like we were talking about the apparel line and just thinking, talking about it with you at work. It's like, then you looked right at me, you should do it. And I'm like, why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
You looked right at me. Why not? I couldn't give you one good reason why not. So it's
I've never been the kind of person to just be like, I think I'm going to do, or I want to do this, but then I just don't. Like if I have a thought and there's something I want to do, I just do it. It actually drives my wife crazy, but But like that's the thing. Like, why not? Why can't you do that? Like, if that's something that you want to do or something you desire to do, why not? What's stopping you?
Your own brain.
Exactly, yourself.
Your own brain.
You're your worst critic. You're the biggest person in your way.
Afraid of success.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I think I'm still a little afraid of success, but I'm successful now, and I'm not afraid of that. You know, and it's
Right.
just, it's funny how it works that way.
Yeah, and I mean, success comes in so many different ways too. It's not just financial. It's like, what does it give you emotionally and mentally and physically? And I mean, obviously, financial success is a big thing, but like as far as like what kind of services are you offering other people that can help them, that would benefit them the most?
Right.
That's success too.
It is. Yeah, you know what? And some days, just getting up. You know, for some people, it's just getting up and taking a shower. That's a successful day. And I think my lucky stars, I'm not in that situation. You know what I mean? Because there's some people out there that suffer with that.
Yeah,
you know?
depression,
Yeah, I was just
anxiety.
gonna say, depression, anxiety. You know,
Yeah.
some people can't get out of bed, and a good day for them is making it from the couch. You know, from the bed to the couch. That can be a tough day for some people.
Yeah.
You know, I've been there, and I'm glad I'm not anymore. And I am ready to help people go through, or I'm ready to help people through what I've been through. And I know I can be good at it.
I mean, you're already good at it.
Thank you. Making me blush.
So when you have your website, what's it going to be called?
Savageofsobriety.com.
Savage of Sobriety.
Yes.
And you'll be able to be on social media and Facebook and all that stuff.
Yes. Actually, you helped me get that Facebook going on that Savages of Sobriety. And then once I really get it going, then I'll get the Instagram going with that. And then as well as, I know you said I had to get on TikTok and all the stuff that's really foreign to me, because I've stayed away from social media for a reason. It's not for me.
It's not healthy to be on it.
I do Twitter, but I only follow DeWitt Athletics, and that's for my daughter because she's a cheerleader there. And I follow Ryan Holiday. That's it. And
That's it. Just the two people.
Just those two things, yeah. And then, but you know, I've got the Facebook going now. But tonight I'll get the LLC, and once I get it, I will screenshot it and send it over to you to. Dave, look what I did. But, you know, for your listeners out there, you can contact me at savageofsobriety@gmail.com. Reach out if you're looking for help. I can, you know, steer you some kind of way. We can talk. Get a hold of Dave. Dave, you know who maybe feel free to give my number out. I just don't want to do it right over this.
Yeah.
I'll let you kind of do that. But reach out to me, savageofsobriety@gmail.com. It's linked right up, obviously, to my phone. My name's Ron Bancroft, and I hope to hear from people, you know. I love to hear stories. I want to help people.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the biggest things, too, for like overcoming addiction is being surrounded by people like-minded, people that have overcome some of the things that you've overcome, and that's the camaraderie of that is important.
You definitely need a community of like-minded people, because this is something you cannot do alone. You will not get through addiction alone. I don't care what it is, what addiction it is, whether it's food, drugs, alcohol. If you're trying to stop, you have to be in a community. You have to you have to surround yourself, Dave. Good point.
Yep. All right, man.
Thanks
is there anything else?
No, man. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah.
I was nervous at first. Probably still am a little bit. I can't wait to come. I can't wait to come back on and let my hair down a little bit more. And we'll wait till after November 5th to come back on, because I know you know what date that is. And once I come back after November 5th, and then the hair can be really let down, and I can spray some bullets and not have to worry about repercussions and stuff like that. So
Sounds great. Yeah, like an hour in is generally when people start relaxing. Like if we could sit here for an hour prior and just like talk and then just hit record, then it would be fine. Most everybody feels comfortable like an hour in, and then that's when the podcast always gets better. Every time.
I sat here and I was on the way over. I was like, all right, do I talk to him like I'm at work or?
Yeah, you definitely should have.
But that'll be the next one. We'll get you guys laughing on the next one. And you know what? And right now, and I don't know if I ever did this, but I know we were gonna try and start a podcast last summer, and the drinking got in the way. And I don't know if I ever really apologized to you for not, and for kind of I don't want to say ghosting, if that's the right word, but I kind of disappeared. So I apologize, because I know we were really looking forward to starting that podcast last summer. So I apologize
that was
for
the least of my worries.
I know, but for me, I want to say I'm sorry, and
I appreciate that.
I don't know, maybe it can happen in the future, but
I
would like to get back in here, after November 5th, maybe beginning of the year, and then where I can feel like I don't have to filter some stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
All right, cool, man.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, thank you.